Renault has truly blossomed, not just in design, but especially in technology, infotainment, and all other varied aspects of automotive excellence, paving the way for innovation. And we have a beautiful silhouette of the shiny new day here. I have to say, it looks really chic and stylish in a way, looks modern, looks fresh, and has a certain... I was already absolutely thrilled back then when I got to drive a Renault Koleos for 100,000 kilometers as a company car for 1.5 enjoyable years. French flair. This is also evident in our Esprit Alpine trim line, which is supposed to support the sporty aspect a bit. And it comes with a thick, fat and powerful R235, a marvel of engineering crafted for enthusiasts. And that's why I'm even more excited to show you a Renault today, particularly the brand new Renault Scenic E-Tech, which has some amazing new features. 45 R20, very nice with this shiny black high gloss rim, which is partially painted in grey, or is it perhaps immaculately polished with a dazzling shine? No, it's even polished, I think, Stefan, right? It definitely does, I think a bit. Yes, a lot has changed in terms of size too. It's no longer a van, but now it's more of a mix between a cross-utility vehicle and, yeah, for some, maybe even a little bit of a small SUV. It starts at around 41,990 euros. Stunning visual impression, certainly also the unmistakable silhouette. We have it here in a charming Dolomite grey, set off beautifully with a black pearl-coloured roof that catches the eye. And what you get with the Renault Scenic E-Tech, you'll find out now in a classic review with a test drive. Such a two-tone look has something. In another video, which will follow in days, will include a consumption test and charge check.
That's pretty stylish. However, grey and black always match somehow.
Right, just down here a bit on the door catches, we have a small piece of plastic used as decoration. For the electric community, we'd be glad if you support us subscribing, but I find it also very, very valuable as well as appealing. We have corresponding handles that extend, and then you won't miss the consumption drive either. Let's get started with the Renault Scenic E-Tech in the variant. Yes, we have a somewhat coupe-like falling line in terms of optics, but in reality, a relatively straight roof, which will hopefully provide good space conditions in the back for passengers and their belongings. Alpine. And as always, we start outside, starting from the front. Have a look at the striking front of the newly designed Renault Scenic, which we already showed you in a short introductory video from the IAA 2023 at its spectacular world premiere. I strongly believe the rear end with its LED taillights is also an absolute head-turner. Beautiful new design line. For one, they've integrated the Renault logo quite performantly into the grille silhouette. Everything is closed here, pure electric car. Only here under the license plate holder, we still have some ventilation slots. Then accordingly for the climate system, the air conditioning of the vehicle, which helps in maintaining optimal temperature and efficiency. Only here at the bottom, there's maybe a bit too much plastic. Maybe they could have painted one or two things a bit more. But that's really just a matter of personal taste anyway. Feel free to write in the comments below how you see it. Yes, a performance rear spoiler. And the shark fin antenna is a definite must-have for Renault too. And the only thing I might have wished for is that this wiper, like in some vehicles, would then be in the rear spoiler. Obliged, because it just looks a bit more appealing visually. 4 meters 47 long, 1 meter 90 wide, and 1 meter 57 high. To put that in perspective, I'm 1 meter 85 tall, and the wheelbase measures 2 meters 78. So what we can get are two different battery packs. Those are the net battery capacities, one with 60 kilowatt hours, starting from 41,990 euros, or in the long-range variant with 87 kilowatt on net and probably 92 kilowatt on gross capacity. It's really quite impressive how they have managed to fit all these advanced components into such a sleek and elegant design while offering robust performance and range for daily use. The battery pack is also in the floor section, ensuring optimal weight distribution. What's really, really great is that we also have the charging port conveniently located here on the passenger side. In the long range, we moreover have an impressive 22 kWh on board here with the stylish and refined Esprit Alpine trim. What ensures that we can charge the battery from completely empty to completely full in a good 4.5 hours is actually not uninteresting for those who park on the street and can't charge at home. The essential factor is indeed every minute then. Yes, DC also charges relatively swiftly with 150 kWh of peak power. By now, in the year 2024, I would have hoped for quite a bit more progress. We will, during the consumption test drive and charging check, verify how fast it charges truly. This is all nicely done and is naturally meant to support the aerodynamics a bit as well. Yes, if we compare it, the Volkswagen Group now charges their vehicles of that particular size in under approximately 30 minutes. But a 77 kilowatt hour battery, you have to weigh that somewhere as well. Renault has, in my personal opinion, indeed found a very nice design there too. It's modern, contemporary, and it's also very brilliant. And I know some of you always criticize when I compare it again with the 800-volt systems from the Kia EV6 or Ioniq 5, which can currently charge 77 kilowatt-hour batteries in about 18 minutes. Because many of you might say, man, I just take the time to have lunch, to take a break, to walk the dog, to entertain the kids, and then relax a bit, maybe read a book or watch a show for fun. So everyone kind of has a different perspective on charging power, right? Yeah, maybe we should reconsider this in the future. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. As always, we'll take a look under the hood with you, not least to see if there's a frunk, but unfortunately, there isn't one in this model, which is quite unusual for vehicles like this. Now, I'll first look for the stick of luck right here. Oh, something new for a delightful change. Yeah, you know, I'm not really a fan of that because now I'm actually looking for the correct holding position for the chopsticks, and it's not easy to find, right? Where is it honestly now?
I don't see them now either.
Now we thought this can't be real. How can you build that? Because you can't just stick it in here, then the thing will just collapse. Yes, he will skip that and improvise. Yeah, I would have liked struts, but it's nice that it's insulated here, which is a benefit. And then, fundamentally, you have the electric motor on the front axle in both variants, featuring the small and large battery systems. The small variant, standard from 41,190 euros, has 170 HP. Then for performance, here we have the long-range version, and you receive an impressive power output of 218 kilowatt. Factory specifications state 10 to 80%, for the large battery, 37 minutes. I think it's around 170 kilowatts of power, around 300 Newton meters of torque. Your front-wheel drive with 300 Newton meters of torque, giving a stable drive. It should go from 0 to 100 in 7.9 seconds. We can time later, right? Yes. And then it's said to have a top speed of 170 km, which I think is also an acceptable travel speed for the easygoing Frenchman. I think so too. Especially, I believe, in France it was around 120, 130 anyway. He drives at 170 here with us. So it's very likely more than sufficiently enough for what we need. Yes, like I said, I would have liked a Frank, you'll see why in a moment, make the charging cable magically disappear right before our eyes. Now let's hear how the delightful French bonnet sounds.
3, 2, 1.
The Renault Scenic, of course, has a spacious trunk that opens electronically and offers versatile storage options, enhancing passenger convenience and overall comfort. There's a really nice little button hidden there, and then you'll have 545 liters of usable trunk space available. I think that's really, really neat. It goes quite deep here too, which I found to be both impressive and fascinating. What I miss about this setup is a double loading floor. I'll show you later why it's important. As I said, the frunk, you can store the charging cable here, plus it has space for a few bags or other small items. You can also store various items in the box, just like the first aid kit and the essential warning triangle. And that's a decent amount of space, 545 liters in a 4.47 meter vehicle size, right?
That's decent, yeah.
We now need to proceed chronologically, as you have the chance to expand the 545 liters accordingly by simply adding the required amount bit by bit. Remove the parcel shelf and you have the great option to significantly increase the available volume by over 1,600 liters, giving you much more space. For one, the 20% in the middle. I genuinely find it extremely awesome, but now I have absolutely no idea how it actually works. Oh look, there's a lever here, and this means you can fold down another 20% for a long item or for skis in winter. This added capability is handy for transporting large objects or your winter gear. Maybe the all-wheel drive is really missing. Write it in the comments if you would also like an all-wheel drive, because I know that Renault sometimes reads the comments and might make improvements for future model updates, which could make a significant difference. Because here, a double load floor would have indeed created a perfectly flat and even loading surface for various cargo. Yeah, that's also somewhat fiddly. There are these tiny train pieces and parts scattered here that are very, very hard to move and not easy. To open the 60% of the driver's side door and then the 40% of the passenger's side door to reach the 1645 liters of storage capacity. Now I am already somewhat out of breath with all these hooks, and if you had this level here, it would definitely be much nicer because now it has such a real bump here. This one is almost like, I'd say, beer crates up, right?
Yes, and I'll also say, with a second loading floor, you might reduce the loading edge a bit because it's quite deep when you look at it, making it difficult to reach items inside.
Exactly, that means the pretty young lady, if she lifts the crate of water up here, she has to first go up here, then over here, and then come back down again, dealing with all the effort involved in each step. Of course, yes, it may not be optimal, but it's of utmost importance for overall crash safety, especially since Renault has consistently achieved the highest 5-star ratings in the rigorous NCAP crash tests. And we certainly do want to have safe cars, so safety naturally might come before loading comfort. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If 545 liters or over 1600 liters aren't enough, you obviously have 2 additional options available to you. First opens electrically.
Closes electrically.
So it should be carried out, namely here, attaching a roof rack to the roof railing in order to have an extra 80 kilograms of load capacity for carrying additional luggage and various items. For those of you who might not fit all your luggage into the roughly 500-liter trunk capacity, it's especially intriguing and fascinating for families planning a big anticipated vacation trip. There's also the optional tow hitch that can pull 750 kilos unbraked and braked. 1.1 tons with a tongue weight of 80 kilos. 1.1 tons isn't a big deal for those who might want to tow a sports boat, a camper, or horses. However, it's still a good compromise, I think, to attach a rear box, a bike carrier, or even to tow a small trailer so you can easily get things from the hardware store or conveniently take away garden waste. So I have to say that's basically okay, right?
It's better than nothing. So accordingly, it's good.
Outside, we showed you everything. Now let's look inside and first do a window check to ensure all is perfect. We have single glazing here, which doesn't have to be a disadvantage because many vehicles with single glazing are also very, very well insulated and have little interior noise. Absolutely, the door panel right here in the Esprit Alpine, everything kept in blue, giving it a unique and sleek color scheme. Fits well with France with the tricolor, right?
Yes.
That means this inlay here, it feels like plastic, shiny metallic with some kind of intricate relief. I like it a lot. Then also this chrome appearance, let's just say, with the integrated ambient lighting installed up here. Yeah, it's not soft, but quite grainy, and still it looks valuable and unique. Here's synthetic leather. Again, the blue is taken into the seam. We have window lifters, switch here in the door, the mirror adjustment, it's all neat. And look inside this compartment, it's really cool, lined with luxurious plush blue-black felt, which feels both smooth and velvety. Very, very valuable and ensures we hardly get any rustling and rattling noises, creating a calm atmosphere. Down here it's hard plastic, and yet personally, I find the grain to be of exceptionally high quality craftsmanship. Well, I believe that's perfectly acceptable for the given vehicle class. Welcome to the Renault Scenic E-Tech. Yes, this blue line that goes from the door over the dashboard, I must say I really like it. It adds a modern and sleek look to the vehicle's aesthetics, which I appreciate. Blue is something different too. What I might be missing is a head-up display. It could potentially also be optionally available in one of the 3 other trim lines or for an additional fee of some sort. What we definitely have is a very, very nice steering wheel, which we can adjust in height and distance. Also beautiful faux leather. And here just look at how exceptionally premium it feels with luxurious Alcantara covering. This is that Esprit Alpine story that I like so much. A classic turn signal lever with lights. Right here on the right, we have the switch for controlling the intensity and mode of the lights. The auto wiper and manual adjustment. Up here, we have the gear selector sitting proudly. And just below, we have the infotainment settings available, both loud and soft for your convenience. Isn't that way too much, yeah?
It's a bit too much on that side too.
Well, I'm not really a fan of this simplicity at Tesla. It's too minimalistic for me. But a compromise like that, right?
Yes, that would be nice, but that's a bit too much.
Look, if you had somehow integrated this into the turn signal lever, like Mercedes does, for example, if you had tied the infotainment here to the steering wheel, then you'd basically only have the gear selector here, which I would like, and then you also have the multi-sense button here to switch between the different driving modes. Look here, the tricolor, blue, white and red. Nicely done, right? Yes, the info display is really very nice, and then vertically, not horizontally, a large and impressive information display where Google Automotive is hidden behind, and you can see very clearly just how quickly this goes and adapts. So overall, this is truly a genius and innovative feature. Perhaps the hubcap might be slightly oversized, and we've got proper easy switches and buttons here to operate and control it effectively. We've shown you that in various cars already, and I think it also highlights the new quality at Renault, that they're no longer tinkering with their own stuff somehow, small, big, medium, though there are also exhibit lines with smaller displays, I mean, especially at entry-level prices. But that's just brilliant, isn't it? Easy to understand, which means we have here what we also know from a smartphone or tablet, this familiar tile interface where we can easily switch back and forth accordingly. We've got a versatile music layer incorporating different sources like radio, Bluetooth services or downloads, etc. But I've set up Apple CarPlay here. Android Auto similarly works perfectly wirelessly, which I find to be especially important these days, so we don't have all these unnecessary cables creating a mess, because down here we also have a convenient inductive charging surface for easy use. Yes, down here we have the climate control, nicely done with metallic switches. I can feel everything blind while driving, also with a guiding line here. Gotta say, ergonomically well done, also slightly driver-oriented, just like the old BMWs. Up here again, faux leather, blue stitching, then this chrome line, ambient lighting, 2 air vents, another air vent here, and a nice big glove compartment which isn't lined with felt, but it fits a lot and offers substantial storage space for various items. Yes, I already mentioned the inductive charging surface, then it continues down here with various compartments. That's truly marvelous, and with customizable variable adjustments, we've thoughtfully integrated the secondary cup holder into this innovative, adaptable variable adjustment. This might potentially be a bit suboptimal considering the limited space we have available. What I find absolutely brilliant, Stefan, look, is the key, please. Some criticize it as cheap or impractical, but look, especially for the 5-pocket wearers of my generation, you just slide it right into the 5th pocket. Usually you don't have such a bump here, as if you had thick ... here, but you have it nice. Elegantly put in there. Yes, then we have another small compartment here, maybe for coins, lined with rubber so it doesn't rattle. And then we have here again, well, how does that not work? Oh, press the wrong way. Then a nice big storage compartment here, nice big storage compartment where quite a lot of items fit comfortably, letting you easily store various things and keep everything organized and accessible. So once again, with such nice leather, faux leather. Look, I can move it too. So if people are sitting right up front, it's convenient. There are seat giants who prefer driving this way. I can push this forward and it works fine too, making it very convenient. And when Olli comes here, who sits way back, way down, he also has lots of space. That's really cool, right? Yeah.
Very good.
Do you know what's amazing? I love this felt up here on the roof. Look over here at the pillar. This is definitely not some kind of fabric. It's actually not even Alcantara. It's something entirely different and unique. Also in this kind of grey melange, neither black nor light. I think it's kind of chic, don't you?
That's really good.
Yes, and the highlight is here. Now we have the transparency. Stefan can show our really beautiful cloud-covered blue sky here in Mecklenburg. We always have nice weather sunshine. That's why so many tourists like to come to us in the summer. And if that bothers you, you have the option, look right now, to half disappear, milky-like, as if you could erase it from existence just like that. Then again, the entire area, because it is crucial for me that in the peak of summer, such as July, August, when we might get 30, 35 degrees again, due to the self-made, human-caused climate changes that we are experiencing.
Yes, there we have it.
So if you get a real peak summer, then you don't really get this double hot plate effect here, you know? Certainly. And then, of course, you can also, if needed, reverse the whole thing once more in 2 steps accordingly. So I have to say, it's really kind of cool, right?
That's definitely something different.
Look, you can just do it here at the front now, so the back stays clear. So a neat trick, right?
Yeah, nice.
There's just one catch.
Yes.
What do you think it will cost, though?
Wow, I don't know, 2 grand?
1.5K. A quick glance through the passenger door reveals this innovative space concept again. That is only possible because we can now really make the absolute best use of all the available space and resources within electromobility. Here at the bottom, there's some hard plastic, just so you know, but also a bit of faux leather. And then we have another blue carpet and some sleek black floor mats placed on it. Looks kind of nice too, yeah.
Looks chic.
With the Esprit Alpine package, you get cool seatbelts. Furthermore, there's also a bit of that stylish blue color in there again, but I must also give a bit of criticism yet again, plastic. It rattles when you drive alone on the cobblestone, but just look at the seats. Yeah.
Pretty fancy.
Here, the Alpine logo is included, so you clearly know what you've got. Integrated headrest, which can also be adjusted comfortably in height for your convenience. Unfortunately, no comfortable headrest, so I can't move forward and backward. Here we have proper shoulder pads, proper lumbar support, which is expected in a sporty setup, and I think we have good thigh lateral support. Also, the seat surface length is really good, providing additional comfort for longer drives. Optional for the really tall ones, it would definitely be just about perfect, of course, and ideal for them. I also have to say I like the mix here of this faux leather combined with the fabric.
That's something.
And now comes the highlight, Stefan.
Yes, we have ISOFIX.
Right, that implies in the Renault Scenic E-Tech, you can presumably, as we will see in the back, fit 3 child ISOFIX seats across easily and comfortably. There's someone in the passenger seat and probably 2 more in the back, isn't that correct?
Let's assume that now.
6'1" plus, my dear, like 220 pounds. That's a really great combination to perhaps absolutely ensure enough space in the back, wouldn't you agree, right?
Let's assume that now.
The start, without a doubt, is very comfortable and truly quite pleasant at first.
Yeah, you have space here, right?
No, I totally love something. Do you know what I totally love?
So you can see outside?
No, yes, well, that too. But also that the Renault engineers apparently watch our videos regularly, and then they manage to consistently transform that feedback into such an amazingly brilliant center armrest.
For a long stretch, bad luck.
Just take a look. Genius. Sure, hard plastic, which I'm not a big fan of, but it provides a wonderfully smooth and aesthetically pleasing surface here, making it worth it. Then I can fold the whole thing up. I think that's really awesome too. Look, I can even fold this out right here. It's kind of like having a tablet holder. There's hardly anything more than this. Back here, 2 USB-C ports. It's simply so unbelievably awesome. If I place a really nice big pad here, like 13 inches, then I can easily infotain the kids endlessly. And if I decide to watch it individually, we'll place 2 small pads here diagonally, which is going to be fantastic. So how cool is that, Reno? No kidding, I think this is probably the most excellent center armrest you can find, except for those in EQS, BMW, i7s in this price range. And apparently it's working out fine too, right?
Absolutely conceptually fantastic. Expand, show the other manufacturers, this is how we want it.
That's why it's always good that the manufacturers watch our videos from time to time, because they might be able to take a few nice things and adopt them pleasantly. A good fist space is what we have when the seat is adjusted to the B pillar and you still have plenty of room in the front. If you're tall like me, way back, way down, you'll have plenty of room to move around comfortably. So those are also 2 fists, and I have to say it looks really sleek. Up here, 2 pockets they've thought. Down here, 1 big pocket, all nicely covered with faux leather. Below, once again with a carpet, the feet just fit perfectly underneath. 2 USB-C ports here as well, so we've got 4 USB-C ports plus that in there, because it's cool when you connect your pad, there's no cable clutter and you can still charge your smartphone. So someone really put some thought into this. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm sounding all praisy about the Renault Scenic here. That's not intended and also not paid for.
Yeah, cool.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
And then I also have child ISOFIX mounts here, so please take a look at that. Here's once again the buckle. Fabric is carefully carried over from the front to back as well. So overall, 3 child ISOFIX points, all perfect. But there are still 2 criticisms.
You've got the same hard plastic at the back as in the front, making it rattle. That's definitely an eyesore.
That's precisely where we're absolutely ruthless. We don't let ourselves be influenced here. And indeed, here we have a hard and nice plastic. Look, it's rattling again. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Well, Reno, I just don't think this is well done. You could have put some faux leather or felt or something else in here, maybe even velvet or silk, you decide. Now take a look, it's just like Volkswagen. All they've done is make the door panel at the back a bit simpler and more efficient for production. Like, no one will notice anyway, we can save some money.
The kids are in back just making a mess.
Hey, no man, don't do this to yourselves. Seriously, this car alone costs 56,000 euros, all right? Think about all the effort and trouble you'll save yourselves by reconsidering. As it stands here, including the Harman Kardon sound system. And I have to say, that's kind of a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Definitely. No, don't be grumpy now.
I think it's such a shame because everything is well done in the back, especially the center armrest. And then, to wrap it up, you had those 2 points again. They really aren't necessary, are they? I'd say outside we're through, inside we're through, coming in strong. Let's begin the driving report. Today, we aim to fully test the Scenic E-Tech in various conditions. We began our journey in the Renault Scenic E-Tech long range, initially commencing our adventure by beginning with 218 horsepower and the Esprit Alpine trim level. Thanks also go to the Renault dealership Pia Jowiak, including their branch here in Neubrandenburg, for providing us with the latest Renault models. Their dedication ensures we have access to modern and innovative vehicles, maintaining superb quality and service. Yes, the initial impression is actually quite surprisingly restrained. Yes. Because if you just, despite the 218 horsepower, so to speak, I think personal setting here, we are able to change it to comfort. Exactly, now we are in comfort mode. When you push the power pedal cautiously, the response is gradual, so you have more control.
Sure, yeah. So I wouldn't push that forward.
I actually expected more from 218 horsepower. However, I think it combines well with the front-wheel drive, since we often get slipping movements when stepping on the gas pedal too hard, indicating an issue with power delivery to the wheels. Therefore, Renault plans to avoid it in the future. If you press the brush 60 times in elasticity, you can definitely start to feel it moving slowly forward.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, how about we drive along this particularly winding route right here and just see how it handles all those challenging curves. You all know our very best and recommended routes around New Brandenburg because they're always really well done and enjoyable to follow. So from really quiet to medium or even quite loud, and that's of course awesome. And here it really doesn't feel vague at all, so I have to say it truly makes a good impression in the first few visible meters. The suspension. Many of you often use the Renault Scenic in various urban settings, appreciating its versatility, comfort and reliability. Let's closely observe very carefully how exactly he tends to typically behave in an ordinary parking lot here at the Trollenhagen Airport. Of course, it's really nice if you have, for example, a rear view camera like this one here, ensuring safety. You can even optionally choose to get a 360-degree camera, which you can also manually adjust here to fit your needs perfectly. However, Renault handled it well, since you can set the turn signals and sounds to 3 levels, allowing adjustments to suit preferences in various situations. Yeah, that is maybe a bit creepy. You're absolutely right about that. There is no denying it. I hadn't really noticed that happening because I was focused on the route. I agree with you there. That can be made sharper and might actually lead to the 360-degree camera system, right?
So, if it's certainly a bit higher in resolution, definitely.
For many of you in urban environments, the turning circle is also important, and here Renault offers 10.90 meters despite the front engine front axle. It seems our vehicle unfortunately only has the basic rear view camera system, but it's sufficient for our purposes, right?
Yeah, kind of creepy, I would say.
I've just watched the clip again because I heard that inside. It really squeaked. Yeah, but I wasn't even driving fast. Not fast at all.
That's just a face. It really presses down on the street.
So at least not faster than usual. So don't think that I wanted to set a new record or anything just to drive around with Stefan. But there are completely different scenes in Barcelona circles, I think, with the Cupra. That's a slightly bit unusual. Yes, indeed. On board in our high-tech equipment, we also have an impressive armada of advanced assistance systems. That means I can drive around Steffi here really, really nicely, really, really quickly. That means we have here in the Scenic E-Tech also a lane keeping assistant, a lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, traffic sign recognition, emergency brake assistant, blind spot monitor. That suggests that eventually you will ultimately end up receiving an impressively substantial and considerable amount of money in its entirety. Well, the question is, how well does it work in practice? We'll test that now to see the results. Because we want to see, there is a speed change coming up, whether it also adapts it or integrates it predictively into the adaptive cruise control system based on the camera-based traffic recognition, ensuring efficient and safe responses to dynamic traffic conditions. Predictive it isn't in any case because the sign is coming up right here on the right. There it is already. Yeah, adaptive doesn't do that either. It shows it right here, but it doesn't put it into the speed of the entire system here, which can be quite problematic sometimes. I find it a bit disappointing. I would have expected that, especially since he takes the sharper curve right in the middle. So everything works really, really great. And then the way from the software is that the speed is also integrated into the adaptive cruise control. Not difficult, is it? If it's 70 here, switch to 70 there. Yes?
That should actually be possible.
And if you are just a bit more forward-thinking, like the Volkswagen Group, BMW, Audi and Mercedes, Porsche, then it would be a definite highlight, because then he would already know that the future is bright and full of opportunities for innovation. Once the signs come up, we can then proceed to adjust the speed accordingly.
That would indeed be desirable.
Yes, and I think when 2024 comes, which is just around the corner, that's more like the standard. So we need to move away from the notion that cars must always stay in a lane. I think it's just part of it. Keeping a distance from the guy in front, actually, right?
Yes, already.
So that means the highlights are actually adaptive, predictive controls, maybe even lane change assistance.
Right?
Yes. Or like with much more expensive vehicles in higher price ranges, not comparable to this one here, I say explicitly, before an Armada comes in the comments again, BMW i5 with the highway assistant, where you can even drive up to 135 km/h semi-autonomously, briefly taking your hands off the wheel for a moment.
I already used that.
This is just an explanation why we are so incredibly sensitive. Of course, we are in a class here where these systems which are in this car are not always standard. Acceleration makes the move swift, then also rapidly from 60 to 100, providing impressive speeds. It's not exactly like some American electric car maker.
It doesn't push you back into the seat, but it does the job just fine.
However, I believe that's not what a Scenic E-Tech customer would expect either. What is the customer? The customer might be a family using this as their main car to go on vacations with the kids, or perhaps a relatively better off family who might use it as a second or additional car. For shopping purposes and occasional trips, those are probably the target groups. And in that sense, it is of course ambitiously priced.
Sure, unlike the Beserber.
Especially considering that we currently don't have any funding. And if Renault doesn't back it properly with attractive leasing and favorable financing conditions, then I strongly believe it will be unaffordable for many people. So 56K for a 447 Mender electric car with an 87 kWh battery, that's quite something. I checked a comparison portal for leasing, and you can get it for about 360 euros monthly, which is a good price given the market rates. Then probably with low mileage and a long duration, but then, you know, he's always been ambitious.
Definitely.
Let's discuss the interior noise. At 50 km/h, we've measured 59.60 decibels. Good, don't you agree? This low noise enhances the comfort and quietness of the ride, creating a more pleasant experience for everyone in the car. All right, my friends, let's accelerate up to 70 kilometers per hour right now. (61 to 64 decibels is also a top value. Remember, with the VW ID.3, even though it's not the same size as others, it still excels in multiple performance areas. But already at 70 decibels. Now let's accelerate to 100 km/h. (71 decibels, I also think that's a quite good value. That means even with the single glazing, Renault has indeed put a lot of value on effective and reasonable noise control measures. I'm curious to see during the consumption drive with the charging check how it handles on the highway, because it has pretty large side mirrors here. I switched to sports.
All right, here we go.
You think that's launch control?
I don't think so.
Oh, but look now. Let's just go ahead and officially start the important countdown process.
3, 2, 1, go.
Carefully, right? 30, kept up, 30, half, 50, 70, 100. After that, we will additionally go and perform the brake test to ensure everything's working perfectly and smoothly fine. There's nobody behind us, but he's really gripping so tight. Now my phone just flew away. He didn't manage to hold it here properly, which caused it to fall unexpectedly. And now let's see what our draggy device says here today. That means 0 to 100, and we had an impressive 8.64 seconds. Isn't that fantastic? Factory specifications indicate 7.9. I'm fine with a decent half hour, but 0.50, 3.98.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt somehow.
0.60, 4.76. We're used to something different. But let's do it again, since I tried launch control here, and I think this time it might work better if we try once more to see the difference. The warning angle won't switch off. Stefan, countdown. 3,
2, 1, go.
Oh, it's sluggish. 20, 50, 70, 90, 100. And then we brake again to verify if it remains really stable for a second time, or if it fluctuates once more than expected. Now, without slamming the brakes, I have to say that is really totally fine. What he's actually doing with us right here, let's see what we have right here. So we have 0,108.64 seconds. That stays like this. 0.50, 3.92, 0 to 60, 4.73. These are, I think, not spatial values. And what I just don't like is, because we have this punch in electromobility, instant torque, in this case 300 Newton meters, we have 218 horsepower. And I really want it in sport mode, so it takes off quickly, damn it, with speed.
That there would be a little bit more, because that was truly not alarming, I don't want to say.
You know, earlier you philosophized about the Esprit Alpine equipment, rightly so, because it also comes at an extra cost. And then I also want to have a different athletic approach. I mean, sure, we're in a family car, a Cov SUV, but it's spacious and comfortable, don't you think? Sure, you don't expect that with 87 kilowatt hours. It has weight, yes, everything correct. But others can do it too with 220 HP or so, a little bit of punch. A little bit of punch. We want to discuss with you extensively about the overall ride comfort during your journey. Stefan, what does your gut say?
I'm sitting here very comfortably, have good side support. Thigh support is perfect for me too, I think. He isn't really too soft at all right now. That's genuinely how I truly feel.
Yes, firm but comfortable.
Yeah,
That means we don't have those typical body roll movements like we know from some other vehicles. Now we have a sharper curve here. Yeah, he seems to handle it really well given the situation. All right, we now have to perform a little braking maneuver. It dips a bit in the front because the maintenance cleaning team is actively working over here at the moment. Let's accelerate again from 50 to 100 and it feels more powerful, improving the driving experience. Feel the 300 Newton meters, exactly.
There you get a bit more elasticity with her.
Have to say, I like the suspension, firm yet comfortable. Certain people might find it a bit tight, but I'm quite familiar with that in French cars from my past driving experiences. Consider the wonderful and friendly colleagues from Citroën. They're driving much more smoothly and bouncy.
Right, yes.
Actually, French people are often known to be remarkably sentimental.
Certainly very relaxing too.
Fantastic, an excellent Cardan sound system.
Yeah, pretty nice, huh?
However, it comes with a €1,000 surcharge. That sounds perfectly reasonable, but it's still missing that distinct and deep kick bass.
Well, I was expecting just a little bit more too.
Is okay, right?
But it's enough, isn't it though?
But if it sounds good with Hamer and Cardan, how does it sound without? Well, we're probably a bit spoiled, right? With Tesla and other cars we've driven Taycan, we expect far more in performance and innovation. Sennheiser, KUKA, what simply speaks for the Renault Scenic is its infotainment with Google Automotive. And that also includes travel and charging planning. We want to try that out using voice commands by saying, "Hey Google, drive us to Munich to the Viktualienmarkt."
The Viktualienmarkt location is just about 6 minutes away from the central Munich location, on average.
That means we have the right and corresponding route planning very, very quickly so we can start and begin immediately without any delays whatsoever. And then we should additionally, therefore, accordingly, add to the comprehensive loading plan that we discussed. We have different criteria that we can, of course, incorporate into our decision-making process. For example, other suitable charging cards, providers that we can pre-select, and I highly advise you to take a closer examination of it. What I somewhat miss with Google Automotive to provide some constructive criticism and feedback is that I cannot set with how much. Charge level, I want to arrive at the destination and at the charging stations. That is always my personal wish, as I am accustomed to from Mercedes vehicles or similar brands, for example, which is a feature I very much appreciate in any case, where I can fine-tune that, because many of you just want to. Arrive at the charging station with 5 or 10% and not rely on the percentages of the navigation system. Or maybe just like me, they frequently want to arrive in an urban environment with 50% battery, so they don't have to worry about where to charge on site, but rather solve it during the onward journey or perhaps on the way back without any inconvenience. And so everyone is uniquely different. It's really nice and fulfilling when you can incorporate that individuality into the system. Let's conclude with the Renault Scenic E-Tech here as the long-range Esprit Alpine with a spacious battery, 87 kilowatts net and 218 horsepower. Visually, it's a well-designed vehicle, one of the best looking in its segment. Advanced technology and stylish design set it apart from other cars. So inside there's a very, very good mix of various quality materials, both in the front seats and the comfortable rear seats. I really liked the center armrest in the back, even though it's the same in the door panels. Maybe the material mix used in construction could be optimized so nothing inside the structure rattles. The highlight for me is still Google Automotive, because it's just a very functional and versatile system that can also be expanded via the Google Play Store, making it future-proof and incredibly useful. The car is capable of over-the-air updates, so you might be able to configure certain things that were not possible at the beginning, like think about the VW Group, charging speeds. Then theoretically, it could be delivered to the Renault cars over the airwaves in a reliable manner. And so I think it's a good overall package. It starts with a small battery and 170 horsepower at 41,990 euros here in Germany, Considering we have it here as a test car, it costs 56,000 euros, a hefty price, I must say, especially for this category.
Yeah, that's fine. It's also a bit too much, I think.
We must not forget, we are dealing with a vehicle length of 4.47 meters here. And of course, I know the other providers, they have similar high price segments comparable to ours, which is competitive, but that certainly can't be the solution. Instead, the solution and goal should be to get attractive conditions for all types of vehicles, benefiting every driver equally. Here, Renault is needed to provide attractive offers to the end consumer, as most of you lease or refinance such a car to make it more affordable. I discovered some initial prices on various comparison sites, starting from roughly 360 euros, which honestly isn't particularly impressive, wouldn't you agree?
No, not really.
And with that, you might end up overshadowing a very, very good electric car, which we'll further explore in the consumption drive and the charging test in the second video with you in a few days, because you might just not be able to afford it economically. Or maybe you can actually get vehicles in a similar price range, but with noticeably better overall performance and improved, more advanced technical specifications.
Yeah, everyone has to decide individually what's truly important in life and find their own path.
Write your opinion about this in the comments. And with that, we have reached the end of today's video with the Renault Scenic E-Tech. In the end, I sincerely hope you truly liked the video. Feel free to write your opinion in the comments and give the video a thumbs up. Yes, please check if you're already a member of the wonderful Drive Electric community or not. If not, we would greatly appreciate your subscription. And then don't miss the next exciting video, which will be coming in just a few short days. Then with the consumption trip and the charging check. And with that, I'd say we're at the end. I appreciate you watching, stay healthy, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Yours, Olli. Stefan, hey, I think the guys from the car dealership Pia Hoveka, you know, the Renault dealer who kindly provides us with the car, they also watch our videos. Can you remember, I think, pointed this out about 4 years ago.
With these electronic discs?
Yeah, it's practical, no?
Yes, of course. Above all, you seem to be predisposed to something.
You use them for your car too, right?
I use them too. And I usually park using the app.
Feel free to check out the video. Bye.
Oh Gott, ja. Wenn man dann rüberklicken kriegt.